Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, and a special Monday today that it is Anzac Day. So I just wanted to acknowledge the importance of this day for everyone who is serving, past and present. Thank you for your service, and I hope you enjoy today. So this morning I am here with you guys, and I wanted to break down the workout that I posted last night on my stories. If you follow me on my stories, you'll see that it got to 8 o'clock. I'm moving into week 3 of 75 hard. Got to 8 o'clock last night and I still had a workout to go. So I posted a time-lapse video of what I did for that workout, and I had a few questions about what was in that workout and why I did certain things. So I thought I would break that down for you this morning and explain to you exactly why I do what I do, so you can get a real great understanding of my philosophies behind exercise training. So for the majority of my workouts, I like to do full body workouts. I don't believe in training a section of your body, so having a chest day or having a leg day as such. I don't really follow that philosophy, and that's for a couple of reasons. Number one, my goals are not to be a bodybuilder or anything like that, so I don't need to target a certain area of my body and train that to fatigue. My philosophy is around really just making your overall body feel well. I don't train any specific body part to be so sore that I can't exercise the next day, because my preference is that I can work out continually. And if I exercise my body so hard that I'm really sore, then I can't actually continue my training efforts, as well as getting on with everyday life, like all the things I need to do as a mum, as a business owner, as everything else we have on our plates. I cannot do that as well if I train my body so hard that I hit extreme fatigue. So that is why I train full body, and that is why I don't train specific body parts. Like I still have a booty day and things like that I would do, or maybe an upper body strength day, but it's not something that I program as such, and it isn't part of the Fit for Life to train in that kind of regard. So I've got some of my stuff here that I used in my workout last night, and I'm going to talk you through everything. Now, a few extra pieces of equipment that I have and that I use here in my home setup, good morning darling, is a kettlebell and also a barbell as well. Now, this isn't a requirement. If you're going to work out from home all the time, yeah, okay, sweetheart. If you're going to work out from home all the time, I would invest in a few extra pieces of equipment. You can still do everything with dumbbells, but sometimes it's nice just to have something different. Have a bit of variety around you as well. So kettlebells are awesome. I love kettlebells. Having a barbell set. Now you can look up these on Gumtree and all sorts of stuff, and Facebook Marketplace. You don't have to buy stuff brand new. Just find something that's been well loved and looked after. Now, a bench is also handy to have. I don't have one that reclines or anything fancy like that, so you could most certainly just use a piece of furniture instead of using a bench. Last night when I was doing my rows, I didn't even use a bench, but I'm going to show you that today. But I had my phone set up on the bench, so I didn't use it. All right, so, and last night as well, I actually didn't have shoes on when I worked out. Now that is something that I normally don't do, but I have been doing that a little bit more often because I'm very interested about my balance, how my feet are gripping onto the floor when I'm not wearing my shoes, and it's really changed a few things for me. So I'm very interested to do that, but normally I would not recommend, especially doing a strength session without shoes on, just for the safety of if you drop your weights and drop it on your foot, you might break a toe or something like that. So the first exercise we started with last night, tie that up. The first exercise that I started with last night is a deadlift, but this was modified that I was up on one heel, on one toe. So this isn't a very heavy bar. I would normally do my weights quite a lot heavier than this, but because I'm doing 75 hard, I'm working out 2 times a day, every single day without a rest. I'm trying to go easier on the weights so I can continue to train because there are no rest days. So what you want to do is have your basic stance. You can't see my feet now. Hip width apart, okay, tummy on nice and strong. And then all you're doing is lifting up one heel. So you're up on your toe. So this means that you're obviously putting more pressure on one glute to work a little bit harder. So I have my bar here. This is 12 kilos. So the bar's about 2 kilos and then there's 5 kilo weight plates on each side. So I'm taking my hip width stand, taking my heel up, and I'm just performing a normal deadlift. So bringing this all the way down as far as my flexibility will go. Shoulders always coming back and coming up to standing straight. Roll the shoulders all the way back up. So glide that bar down your legs. Come back up to standing straight. Now, if you didn't have a bar, you just do this with your dumbbells. Same thing, right? Keep your dumbbells nice and close to your legs. Glide them down. Stand back up. So you can still do this whether you have a bar or not. Again, it's just giving a little bit more variety to your training. So that was the first exercise that I did. That is called a B stance, RDL. Then we moved into some reverse lunges with a kettlebell. Now, again, the way I use this kettlebell, I was just holding it. So you don't need to have a kettlebell to be able to do this exercise. So I held it upside down like this. This is the easiest way if you're just holding a kettlebell to use your weight. Stepping back nice and long, going down into a lunge. Ideally, you want your knee to lightly tap the floor if you can, pulling back up. I did the same leg for 6 repetitions before switching sides. Again, if you didn't have a kettlebell, you don't have to use a kettlebell. Grab a dumbbell, grab a medicine ball, same thing. So use what you've got around you. Really just, you can be flexible with training like that. If you're following a program or if you're making up your own workouts, go with what you have available. All right, so that was a superset. And what that means is I did those 2 exercises, so the deadlift and the reverse lunge, 3 times, and I did them 1 each. So RDLs doing the deadlifts, come back in, do those reverse lunges, back to the deadlifts, back to the lunges. So I alternated between the 2 exercises. And I did that because that's also a way that you can train the same sort of muscle groups without actually just overtraining as well. All right, so after that, I moved into the single arm dumbbell row. Now, what I did with this one, I took just a split stance really, and I was leaning on my front leg. So again, I was popping the glute out, utilizing that and rowing up nice and close into my body. Now I had a 6 kilo dumbbell. That's a medium weight. That's probably not the lightest weight for me. Watch out for a sec, babe. If you were doing this on your bench, knee up on the bench, I like to put my foot on the back of the bar so I can stay nice and straight, and I am really taking a really good, nice angle here with my legs. Lean over onto the bench, be mindful of your wrist, how that feels. Tummy on nice and tight, back flat, and you're rowing up into your side. So the really important thing to remember here is that you're not winging your arm out. So as you row up, you want that elbow and your shoulder in nice and tight. Breathe through it, pulling it in. So whether you're leaning on your leg, and you won't need to put a lot of pressure on your leg, you're really just doing this for a balance and stability, or you're over onto the bench, leaning down, roll it up into your ribs nice and tight, and just make sure that you're controlling the movement when you go up and down. A lot of people go up and then just let it flop down. Make sure you're controlling up and down, nice and strong. So 12 each side on there. And then again, we're supersetting that exercise. This time I did a forward lunge. So there is a difference between forwards and backwards. You'll be using different muscles in your legs to do that. So I came forward into a lunge, lunging down, and then I did a hammer curl. So I'm using my arms at the same time as my legs. Now this one is a little bit trickier when you come forward. You've got the weights to move as you come back up. So as you're lunging forward, nice long lunge, coming down, and then hammering those weights up, only to your shoulders. You don't need to go any higher, and back down. If you preferred, you could do a full bicep curl. I just find it a little bit harder to hold the weights. They're kind of banging into my legs a little bit when I do it that way. So doing a hammer curl, I can get in nice and straight and strong. And then you've got to use that front leg to push back up and stand up. So that is a little bit trickier. 5 kilos is probably, that's quite a heavy weight for me to do that exercise. So that one was really pushing my limits a little bit more, getting that one done. Okay, then I moved into, good morning, another one awake. Then I moved into doing my mountain climbers and my bodyweight plank. So this one was the hardest part, to be honest, because I did it consecutively, no breaks at all, and it killed me. I even have a bit of a plank rash. If anyone knows when you actually just hold a plank on the black mats, you get a bit of a carpet burn going on. So even got the war wound to show for this one. Now, mountain climbers, there's lots of varieties that you can do for your mountain climbers. Make sure you can see me. So what you want to really be paying attention to when you're doing mountain climbers is that your hands, your shoulders are in alignment with your body. Taking your legs out nice and long, you want to be coming into that plank position and you're driving your knee up in underneath your body. So the pace you go will dictate how intense it goes. The slower you go, this can also be difficult because it's making you hold into that position. The faster you go, you're obviously going to really build up that heart rate, get your heart rate going so quick. So if this is something that you struggle with or think I can't do that, you can most certainly use equipment that you have. By taking that angle up higher, you're taking off the pressure from your upper body a little bit. So if it's too intense to do that, come up onto a chair, onto your bench, whatever you've got. If you've got a box that you do for box jumps or something like that, if you've got a box, then use that to give you that stability of still being able to do this without having too much pressure on your upper body. So staying out nice and long, you want to make sure that your bottom is down flat. You don't want to be arching underneath because you're going to really hurt your lower back if you do that. It's a fine line to find the balance of staying nice and straight. And of course, we don't want to be up like this because that's not going to be working your core as effectively as if you're down nice and straight, bringing that in. Now, after I did 30 seconds of mountain climbers, I moved straight into holding a plank. If you needed to have a rest, you certainly can, but I wanted to make this short, sharp, and really spicy. So I didn't give myself a rest in between. I moved straight into a plank. As we know, there's so many variations of a plank that you can do. Always, again, your wrists, elbows, shoulders in alignment. Unless you're doing a plank that's specifically working outside of this, it's really important to make sure, otherwise you're going to feel this in your shoulders and it won't be working as efficiently as what it should. So if you're starting out with planking on your knees, again, just make sure that your bum's not up, nice and straight through your core. You don't want to be underdoing it either. You'll feel it immediately in your lower back if you've gone too far under. So stay nice and straight, hands in alignment with your shoulders, and hold. My preference is that you don't cross your legs because that makes your hips go a little bit out of alignment. I like people to keep their feet together nice and straight. Your next modification is if you're coming down onto your forearms to hold into this plank. Again, bottom nice and straight. If you can, keep your hands flat on the mat. A lot of people hold their hands together. It does help you, but your next progression from that is actually just leaving your hands out straight onto the mat. Now, your next progression is if you're up on your wrists and you're bringing your legs out nice and straight, hold nice and strong. And then again, your full plank down on your forearms. Again, if you can, hands flat, hold them together if you need to for that extra bit of support, and hold nice and strong. Planks are so great for developing so many areas of your body. It really is that full body burn as well. You're working your shoulders, you're working your core, you're going to feel it in your calves. It's really great exercise for overall health. So 3 rounds each of those, 30 seconds, no breaks. That's what I did. If you want to follow what I did, that's what I did. Okay, and then the last superset. So you can see these are in little sections. I did 2 exercises, 1 and 1. 2 exercises, 1 and 1, and rotated them. That's a good mix for me because I don't have to think too much about it. So if the kids come in, it's a little bit distracting, they need something, I can just quickly attend to that and then come back to my workout without feeling like I've lost all my momentum and everything else like that. Okay, so the last superset that I finished with was kettlebell swings and the renegade rows. Now these are really fun. I do love kettlebells. I did do quite heavy weights last night because I love kettlebells. I did a 16 kilo kettlebell last night, but I probably should have gone lighter because I'll be feeling it in the days to come with no rest going on. So when you're doing a kettlebell swing, again, your feet position is so important. We think it's all about our upper body, but how you stand is really, really significant as well. So feet hip width apart, core on, nice and strong. You want to be picking up that weight, being mindful of how you pick up the weight as well. Pick up that weight, slight bend in your knees, bring it up. So what you want to be doing is that kettlebell, this can feel awkward when you're first starting. You're like, I don't really know what to do with this. Let gravity bring it down, okay? So just let it swing down, and then as you stand up, you bring that weight up. I don't recommend any higher than your shoulder height. There's a lot of different variations of kettlebells that you can do. Ones where you're going straight up into the air. Don't recommend that for people that are new or if you have shoulder injuries. Just stick to your shoulder height. You're still going to get a really good movement. You're still going to get a really good body burn when you're working out your arms, your core. Everything's still going on for you. So don't feel that you need to take it all the way up. Not 100% necessary. So roll those shoulders back. You're standing up nice and straight. Feet hip width apart, toes slightly turned out. Weight down, bring it up, down and up. Breathe through it and keep it going. So again, I did 12 repetitions of this and then I moved into my renegade row. These are a trickier exercise. This is working your shoulders and your core once again. You're basically doing a plank and adding in a dumbbell row at the same time. You can do this on your knees if you need to. Follow the same principles as if you're doing your plank. Don't cross your legs, please. Keep them nice and straight. So, core on nice and strong. You don't want your bum hanging out. Nice and flat. Rowing in to your ribs, each side. If you can, your progression from that is up on your toes, making sure your shoulders are in alignment with your elbows and your wrists. Row in. And now you will turn a little bit. It's just the nature of what you're doing, but make sure you're not overdoing it and really twisting up from side to side. You want to just be making sure you're trying to stay as flat as possible. Row it in, change sides. So I did 12 reps, 3 rounds. So I went back to the kettlebell swings, come back, do 12 rows, back to doing 12 kettlebell swings. If you didn't have a kettlebell, you can do the same thing with a dumbbell. You just need to hold it on the end. It does feel a little bit differently, obviously, My tip is just to really cup your hands under the weight. Make sure you're holding on nice and tight, that it feels really secure, that you've got a good grip on that. The same thing, swing it down, bring it forward, down and forward. So it is a little bit different, but you can still do the same thing if you've only got a dumbbell. And that's it, guys. That's what I did. I did 3 rounds, supersetting those exercises. So I did them in lots of 2, worked through that. Took me about 35 minutes to do. I spent about 4 or 5 minutes doing a warm up and then spent some extra time stretching at the end. Stretching has been really important for me, especially throughout this challenge, because of how often I'm exercising and doing that continuously as well. So really important not to dip out on that stretch at the end. If you feel tight, if your muscles are cramping, if you're having those sorts of feelings, definitely need to get in and do some more stretching. Okay, that's everything I have to share for you today. I hope you enjoyed that information and a little bit more on that technique side of things as well. If you are trying out this workout, I would love for you to get in touch with me. Let me know how you liked it and how you went with it all. So have a great Monday, public holiday today. Kids are back to school in New South Wales on Wednesday, and honestly, I cannot wait. Looking forward to having that stability back into our routine. So might make some school snacks today and just get ready for the week ahead, which is really exciting. Tomorrow night we have our webinar coming up on exercise, and I'm going to go through some tips with you how you can do an effective workout in 15 minutes. I often talk about my 30-minute workouts, but I'm going to give you some supercharged quick workouts that you can do. So 8 o'clock tomorrow night, I'm going to drop the link for my webinar in the comments. Please feel free to register. Now, even if you can't make that time, if that's a bad time for you with the kids and stuff, please register anyway, because I do send out the recording. So if you want the replay to watch back at a better time for you, make sure you still register, and then I can get that out to you. So have an awesome week ahead, and if you need any help and support, please reach out. I'm happy to help you. All right, talk soon. Bye.